What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's Sunday afternoon here in Findlay, Ohio. Me and Anderson are hanging out in the beer shed, getting ready to try a new beer. The beer we have today is actually something really special. This is a beer that was sent out to us almost probably a year ago by Pete, and I was saving it for a special occasion. And as I'm getting close to the end of the 365 days, I wanted to break it out on day 365 or close to that. I realize Anderson's in town for today and won't be around for 365, so I didn't want to drink this by myself. I figured I should share it with you, dude. So it's something.
Well, that's very kind of you. I appreciate that.
And thanks to Pete for sending this out once again, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that.
So this is Russian River's Consecration. It's an American wild ale. Russian River is one of those breweries that is, I don't know, I mean, they're, legends in the beer community. I've only had a few of their beers ever. I think Pete sent two of us out, the Intinction one and this. And other than that, I think I might have had one of them when I was out in Colorado before, but I don't really see them. I know you've had a few, right?
I've had a few. I mean, Pliny the Elder being the obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't really see these beers at all around here. They're really hard to find around here.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising you've only had a couple of them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what makes this one especially cool is when you went and looked at the ratings on this. On Untapped, it had a 4.38, Beer Advocate a 4.53. The overall score on Beer Advocate, like the critic score thing, was 100, world class. So I think this is only the second beer that I've had with a 100 rating on Beer Advocate. The other was, I think it was a Treehouse Hazy something or other. So I was really excited to be able to, give this a shot given the rating, and I'm happy to be able to share it with you, dude. So, this is 10% ABV, American Wild Ale from Russian River. Looks like they have two locations, one in Santa Rosa, California, and one in Windsor, California. Looks like there's a brew pub in Santa Rosa. Windsor is the brewery and the pub, so I'm guessing that's the original spot there. Now, on the back of this, there's some writing. I had to take a picture and blow it up because it's quite small. And we have a couple of definitions of consecration. So one, the act of dedication to the service and worship of a deity. Two, the act of giving the sacramental character of the Eucharistic elements of bread and wine. So I'm not sure which one of those two they're going for there. Maybe the bread and wine.
I would say the bread and wine, but it's probably, considering this is aged in Sauvignon Blanc barrels?
Yeah, if not, then we're verging on heresy.
Yeah.
Because it would be claiming to be worshiping a deity, or it is a deity, right? So this says, when we made the Toronato's 20th anniversary ale, we had no idea that it would turn out to be one of our favorite barrel-aged beers we would ever make. With that said, we've always wanted to make can't read what it says, it's a little bit damaged, a dark-bodied aged beer using 100% Cabernet Sauvignon barrels, but we never were inspired. That is, until we blended our different beers to make the Toronado beer. The tobacco character from the dark malts blends nicely with the fruit character that developed in blending. So at Consecration, we set out to make a barrel-aged something or other Cabernet Sauvignon barrels. Now, we're not saying this is a replica of the Tea Room's anniversary beer. After all, a beer like that can never be duplicated, and there was no fruit added to that beer as there is with this one. All we're saying is that it gave us great inspiration to brew Consecration. Consecration is re-fermented in the bottle to create its carbonation, process commonly used to make fine champagne and sparkling wine. Spent yeast form a thin layer of sediment in the bottle, adding yet another layer of complexity and flavor. Pour slowly as to allow the natural yeast sediment to remain in the bottle. So, it's directing us to pour in these tulip glasses. I think that's the most information I've ever seen on the back of a beer bottle.
That is quite a paragraph of information about the beer.
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose if it's 100, right, they want to make sure you get all the details. So let's give this bad boy a shot. Let's hope this doesn't shoot in my face here. Or ruin my Darren Dalton jersey.
Lean back a little bit so
it
doesn't hit you in the face.
This has been sitting in the fridge since Pete sent it out. All right. Woo, look at that. Looks like a shotgun blast there, man. I don't know if you can see the smoke coming out
off of it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I actually saw somebody refer to it as gun smoke the other day, and I've never
heard that. Gun smoke, huh?
I mean, that makes sense. Smell, man. You smell that?
Yeah, you can smell that already.
That smells like wine, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Me. I'm not a huge wine dude, so I don't know. I'm super interested to try this, but I'm afraid that's going to taste like wine, and I'm going to want to run for the hills. All right, let's give it a shot. pour slowly to avoid all the funk. I don't know how much we'll get in each of these. Now this says that it's brewed with what, currants, did it say?
Yeah.
I think it's an ale brewed in Sauvignon or Cabernet Sauvignon barrels with it.
Cabernet Sauvignon barrels, yes.
Yeah, with currants added, so I assume kind of like black currants.
You can really smell the wine, the winey character.
Yeah, big time. Trying to see if I can see any sediment pouring out there.
Hopefully that wine character is mostly in the nose.
Yeah. The bottle's obviously dark, so it's difficult to see through it, but I don't really see a bunch of crap on the bottom. No, there you go. There's a little bit. If you look on the...
Well, make sure you get that special bit in your glass.
I'm going to pour that right in your glass, so you'll be in the bathroom for the next 3 days.
Just like
There's a little bit.
Like that peanut butter beer where you were having chunks.
Literal chunks of peanut butter, yeah. All right, man. So we're going to drink a 100 rated beer. Is that intimidating?
No, not really, because, full disclosure here, I have had one of these beers before.
When?
I don't know which version it was.
This one,
which bottling date, which batch number, but I had it in 2017.
This one's from 2017. It says bottled on it. If you go on Untapped, it has batch number. I suspect the batch number is just the bottle date, obviously.
But I realized it definitely wasn't this one because I had it in March of 2017, and this is August.
So this says, yeah, August 11th, 2017. So this has been aging for a little bit. All right, man, let's give it a sniff. Well, first off, I guess the color. We could break out our chart and see where we think it falls on this SRM color chart.
Fancy.
Yeah, I saw my man on Don's beer review using a similar kind of thing, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I don't know what we'd say color-wise. This is like a...
Was that the day that
24, a ruby brown, maybe?
Was that the day he had Finley in the background?
No, he did visit Finley and didn't come and see me, though. I didn't think that was very nice. So we got kind of a ruby brown color. There was no real head to speak of when this poured. Let's give the nose. What are you doing this like it's a wine? Feel like we got to be doing this?
I'm watching things float around in it.
We got any floaters? No,
I thought I did, but I think it's just large carbonation bubbles.
Smell.
Although there's not a lot of head, there are some pretty large bubbles slowly floating to the surface.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. You know, when it said like champagne kind of thing, I thought maybe there'd be tons of bubbles, but
like you thought it'd be very effervescent.
Yeah, but it's really. I mean, you see them; they're real slow, though. It is odd, isn't it?
But some of them are like.
But they're
massive,
they're
massive bubbles.
Yeah, yeah. That's weird. Smell. I think you pick up like that oakiness from the barrels. You kind of get like a wine smell to it as well. Maybe like a little bit of cherry or the black currant. Yeah, to me, I think the dominant smell is oak. It smells woody.
Yeah, I mean, it smells like you'd expect the inside of a wine barrel to smell like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, man. You ready?
I'm ready to see if this is better than the other one I had.
Cheers. That's interesting. First thing, I expected this to be a little heavier. You know, it's really not. It's kind of medium bodied, I think. It's kind of smooth. It's a little bit funky. You pick up some definite sourness, lip puckering sourness. You know, and we talk about this all the time, the difference between sour and tart. I think this is sour. This isn't tart. This is straight up sour.
I agree. It's totally straight up sour.
So you get the sour. You probably get a little bit of kind of like a cherry taste to it.
I have to say, as I mentioned, I'd had another version of this before. March 2017, so it obviously wasn't this. This version of it.
This batch,
sorry. And I didn't give myself any notes as to why. I didn't rate it very highly, but I only gave it a 3 on Untapped.
What are you thinking on this one?
This is good. I like this. I mean, that was 4 years ago, so I don't quite remember why I gave it a low rating.
Well, that could have been beer number 15 in a day out, and then God knows if you even, you're
That's
really rating
too.
it accurately. I think it's good. I think you pick up a little bit of chocolate in there. You definitely pick up kind of the fruit in there, like kind of like a sour cherry taste to it. The black currant. Overall, I think it's a really good beer.
And I wonder if maybe the beer I had originally, I picked it up and it was fresh, compared to this, which has now been aged for
4 years.
4 years
almost.
in the bottle,
Yeah,
after
yeah.
being barrel aged.
Yeah, because it says 6 months in the barrel
Because
here, right?
sometimes it says it's a dark ale, and sometimes with dark ales they have that syrupy kind of flavor
Yeah.
that I just absolutely can't stand.
This says four. I think it says 4 to 8 months there.
And then it's been another 4 years in the bottle.
Yeah.
And maybe I had it fresh and it had that syrupy consistency and flavor that I just absolutely did not
stuff
like.
develops
And this
anyway.
doesn't have it.
You kind of get them depth of flavor when you let it sit there. Some beers, not all, obviously. We had some barley wine. Do you remember that?
Bigfoot.
The Sierra Nevada Bigfoot. The one beer style that I absolutely despise is barley wine. I can't stand it. It's got a nasty sweet taste to it. I hate it. But we let that one sit for a while. I don't remember how long it was.
It sat in the back of my fridge for a couple of years, I believe.
Yeah, because nobody wanted to drink it. It just kind of sat there. And then finally we broke down and had it, and it was good. The second time around, it was actually really good. But, maybe it's something like that. Maybe you're enjoying this more because it's had some time to kind of refine and mature and do its thing. But, all in all, I'm super excited to be able to give Consecration a shot. Definitely think this is a world-class beer, and definitely would give it a thumbs up. What do you think?
I'd also give it a thumbs up. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised with it.
Yeah.
Especially after having it the first time and not being too impressed.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering how it would get such high ratings on Beer Advocate Untapped. But
Well,
with this version, I absolutely agree with the ratings.
Here's another thing, too. When it comes to beers that are done in, like, different kind of casks or barrels, I tend to like things done like stouts and whiskey barrels and stuff like that. But when you go wine barrels, I'm generally not a huge fan of them. And I think the last one we did was done in, like, a white wine barrel. And it wasn't bad. It was good.
No,
it was
yeah,
actually
right.
good.
It was good.
And it's kind of changed in my mind. Like, I thought for a while that I don't like things that are in wine casks. And I guess it really just depends on whether it's done well or not, right?
It just doesn't really have a whole lot of winey taste to it.
Well, the other thing, I think for 10%, I don't know that it tastes boozy. It tastes
No, not at
sour.
all.
It tastes
Sour.
sour, but it doesn't taste...
Sour and oak. There's no booze to it whatsoever.
You could get in trouble drinking this if you weren't
Absolutely.
paying attention. Because you could put a few of these down, and at 10%, it would probably sneak up on you, man. It would be bad news.
Absolutely. This thing is aged very well.
Yeah.
I totally see now why it gets the ratings it does.
Yeah. So all in all, great beer. Double thumbs up from us. If you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. Please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. I know a lot of people watch, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch the videos. But if you hit subscribe, would really help. I'm closing in on 300 subscribers. I'm hoping to get there before my birthday on Wednesday. So if you don't subscribe, if you haven't subscribed and you like the videos, please do so if you want. If you don't, that's also fine. I'm not going to lose any sleep. But if you do, I'd appreciate it. And as always, if you have any comments or questions, if you've tried this or one of the other variants or the other batches, let me know what you think of it down below. Again, Pete, thanks for sending this out. World-class beer. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Hey, until next time, cheers.
Cheers.